Good morning.
Good afternoon.
Good evening, wherever you are on this amazing, amazing planet of ours. I'm Ariel.
And I'm Shia.
Hurry up.
Hurry up.
That's today's episode of Being Here. Ooh,
I'd rather slow down.
yeah,
You know, I've noticed that when I slow down, I get so much more accomplished than
it's
when I have.
so true.
Mhm.
That saying that we heard from, attributed to the military, fast is slow.
No, smooth is slow and slow is fast.
Smooth is slow, slow is fast. There you go. I knew.
It's something like that,
Yeah.
right? That's what it is. That when you slow down to a place where things get smooth,
Thank you.
you don't make mistakes.
Right.
You're there and it's obvious what needs to be done next. It's when you're trying to get through with a project that you make mistakes.
Like making coffee to come here, I was like, oh, yes, smooth. I had it correct in my head of that. I'm smooth is slow, slow is fast. And I was doing everything right until I sped up and sloshed a little coffee on my shoe, which required me to take off my shoe and my sock, rinse them out. Hey, they're going to have to go to the wash, just a little bit of speediness rather than being where I am led to a whole bunch of catch up. And I'm
Yep.
not talking about the condiment that goes on hamburgers. I'm talking about
Ah.
having to catch up with myself.
I always heard it as catch up.
It depends on which
What part of
coast
the
you're
country
from.
you're from, right?
Oh, see, we're listening to each other today. Hope you are listening too, just setting aside how you expect things and hear what has to be said, not only by us, but by guests. We do finish each other's sentences. in
As
case-
Ariel just demonstrated.
Correct. And should we take our first guest or do you want
Sure.
to speak more?
Let's just talk a wee bit about listening.
Okay, a wee bit
A wee bit.
by Shia Kane.
If you're thinking about what's being said, you're not listening. If you're agreeing or disagreeing with what's being said, you're not listening. Listening requires that you hold your internal conversation in abeyance. In other words, you don't use it, you just leave it alone and hear what another person is saying from their point of view.
Well, that internal conversation runs, and as Shai said, abeyance, you just set it aside. You don't need to invest in it. The moment you start agreeing and disagreeing, you're actually having a conversation with yourself that supersedes the conversation that you're listening to.
Well, not only that, no two things can occupy you at the same time. So if you're listening to your conversation, you're certainly not listening to their conversation.
There you go.
And if you find anything to disagree with, you're not listening.
Agree too. It's the same thing. You're just saying, that's right. That's my experience. And you're off to the races with what you think as opposed to hearing what's being said.
There you go.
A wee bit.
So a wee bit. See if we
about
can
listening.
do a wee bit of listening here today and hear what people have to say.
Well, let's
Our
speak.
first guest's name is Christian.
Yeah, let's speak with Christian. And while he's coming on and getting ready to Zoom with us and tell us where he's from, shout out to you, Christian. This is your suggestion of a Being Here episode. And here you are, and here we are.
Hey guys, here's Christian from Munich in Germany. So good to see and hear you.
Oh,
So good to
yes.
see you too.
And hear you as well.
Thank you. This is so funny. Yes, I suggested the theme of this podcast today. And I can vividly remember when I wrote down the title and the description, I found myself in a place of comparing and getting better, or like a bit in a rabbit hole. Like, yeah. Do you know the film Ice Age?
I don't, but tell people who don't what the reference is for you.
So it's a 3D animation movie. And in there, they place a squirrel. And that squirrel always wants to find a nut, and it's very, like, oh, where's my knot? Where's my knot? Where's my knot? Oh, there's my knot. And it's jumping behind the knot and always losing the knot. It's like always behind the knot.
Sounds frantic.
This is how I felt when I wrote
Mm.
the title and description. And even this is a while ago, I can find myself from time to time in my opinion, falling back into that habit of comparing myself, look and see what are my colleagues in work are doing, or where are people traveling to. It's like I can see it in different areas. And I would love to have a recipe, a pill.
Well, first of all, I would like to tell you how inspired I find you.
Oh,
A lot of people get lost in being speedy.
But you know, yesterday, Ariel and I went to assist a couple of friends of ours who just bought a home and it needs a lot of renovation. So we were helping in the renovation. And it was near a town called Boonton in New Jersey. And we had a friend who used to live in that town, and he's now in Colorado. And he's very much into fishing. And I was thinking about, oh man, that guy, he's traveling and he's fishing and he's doing all this, and I'm not these days. And his life is better than my life. So I know exactly what you're talking about when you talk about comparing how you're doing to how other people in your profession are doing.
Okay, so now I have two things to talk about. What I was starting with Christian, and totally happy to stop and listen to you. First of all, I don't think either one of you have considered the idea that when you touch on, in your case, Shai, your friend in Boonton, and you, Christian, who used to live in Boonton, and you, Christian, with particular people in your industry who you compare yourself with, that you connect up with them and you can actually be grabbing their way of seeing life, that
In other words,
is ever enough.
their insecurities.
They have to do more better. They're always after the nut. Like you connect in with that
Mindset.
that hamster wheel mindset that's always going forward. That's the first thing. But why I find it inspiring is a lot of people, as far as I know, everybody from time to time gets lost in, oh man, I have to get going. I have to go faster, do more, do better. And I've never linked it to comparing yourself to someone first. That the comparison itself can start you scrambling. That is inspirational. So if you find yourself scrambling, you may want to look at who you're comparing yourself to. If you want a nut,
And maybe,
I mean,
and maybe you're tuning into the way they operate, the way they think, how they feel behind, and you're just playing it through your internal conversation.
This is so, Ariel, it didn't occur to me that there is like a first action before there's a happening before, and then there is a after, how you say that, reaction or after wave, or
I like that, after reaction and after wave, that it sends you out like a shock wave into your environment.
and then
Inspiration. See, you're doing good.
Thank you.
I mean, that may not always be the case.
Hmm?
Sometimes when you can catch how you have certain types of reactions that feel a certain way and have a certain thought pattern, and you can see the springboard into that. Like if I find myself in a swimming pool and I'm thrashing around, but I recognize if I stand on the springboard to jumping into that pool, I don't have to jump in. So if I find myself thinking about other people and how they may be doing better, I can reel myself back into this moment.
See, the other thing is this, your life by comparison really isn't a life. It's not their life. It's in regard to how they're doing rather than you allowing yourself to be perfectly okay being you the way you are in the current moment, which, by the way, is the only way you could be. You know, it's like a rose bush wishing it were an oak tree. It's not going to happen.
I find it very interesting because I recently received an email from you, and I believe you spent a significant amount of time. Was it in Japan?
Yes.
A month in
Japan. Yeah.
You were hiking up somewhere near Mount Fuji where you could see it, and then you were someplace else, and then you're in the Swiss Alps, and then you're in Turkey or something. It's like, I'm so sorry you don't travel as much as your friends.
Thank you. It's so easy to forget that.
Oh, yes. Yes, what's gone is gone. You know, that orgasm, once it's over, like it never happened.
Yeah.
And people are trying to get these peak moments of ecstasy. Well, slow down and you'll discover a peak moment of ecstasy in your current moment of life.
Hmm.
You know, unfortunately, I don't think it's the same with upsets. You know, once that upset's gone, it may be gone, but I often think people hang on to a little remnant in the background because
Well,
they want to be able to pull it forward and use it again.
I don't think upsets complete themselves very well. You see, an upset can initiate other upsets. So you have rolling upsets, one like layers of upsets.
I don't think you have layers of wellnesses as
That's-
much because we don't resist the wellnesses. It just happens. Like you said,
And
you
it's
were there,
over.
you hiked, it was a beautiful day, it's over. You took some pictures, so now you have at least a trace memory, but it's over. If you had done something you considered stupid, like we have a friend who's a really good buddy of ours and somebody that we connect up with for fishing, and so I sent him a text today. He said, oh, I'm out of commission. I ruptured my Achilles heel. I guarantee you, or Achilles tendon, that he's spending a lot of time picking on himself for the
Doing
accident
whatever he
himself.
did to produce that.
Mm. Mm. And it's very interesting when you brought up Japan, like the most vivid or biggest memory of the 4 weeks are like that I got mountain sick at
Yeah.
Mount Fuji, you know, like that. I couldn't sleep all night and that.
It's funny that what all of that quote good stuff has gone down the river
And what you are stuck with
is what's hanging up on the rocks is the
things you
one
resisted.
negative thing I got, mountain sickness or altitude sickness.
Altitude sickness, yes. Yeah. Interesting.
Well, it's
How is
very
it that you had altitude sickness? You grew up in the Alps.
Yes, and I've been before like on higher mountains, but I was like, hurry up the mountain, you know?
Oh.
Aha! So you drove yourself to sickness.
Yeah, yes.
That's good.
Oh, you were so much fun. And you know what's interesting?
What?
Back when Shanna and I lived at the meditation center in
So she's
Italy, we're
talking
talking
like 36
like
years ago.
86, 87, whatever. One of the suggestions made by one of the people who were leading a course, and I don't recall which course and I don't recall which person, but they suggested that when you teach something, it's something you in particular
Need to learn.
need to learn. So in a way, I've been seeing that in the episodes that people are suggesting the things that are very places where they might get stuck or they may have something for themselves, which back in the early days, one of the courses that I led was the Freedom to Breathe. Now, of course, we do them in concert with each other, but I definitely held my breath a lot back then. It was like, so, you know, you don't resist, if you do not resist the fact that from time to time you drive yourself forward in comparison, or, I'm not going fast enough. And you don't resist that as a fact. It just happens. It'll disappear in an instant.
That's the third principle of instantaneous transformation. Anything you allow to be, or anything that you experience, completes itself. But when you resist something, you keep it in place. That's the first principle. Second principle is life shows up exactly as it does. You can either resist it or you can embrace it. Your choice.
One other thing, Chris, is something Shaya frequently says, and it's coming to mind for me now, so I'd like to repeat it and attributing it to you because it really is something I've grabbed from you, Shaya. The mind cannot be satisfied. It always wants more or better or different. So the fact that you were in Japan for a month and you climbed a mountain and then you were, I don't recall where the other place is, it's not enough to your mind. You should do more. You should go someplace different. You should find
Better.
someplace better. That's not a failing of Christian. It's a design function of a mind which Christian has.
This is awesome. Thank you so much.
Well, Christian,
Yes.
talk about listening with your eyes as well as your ears.
Mhm.
If you look into your life, you see what's needed and wanted. But when you think, you're not usually looking through your eyes at what is needed out there. In this moment, you're trying to get somewhere that you think will be better than where you are.
I'll bet you at those times where you were rushing up the mountain, your eyes were not taking in the scenery.
You were plodding along.
Yes, you're very accurate. Yeah, I have the memory of the down of the day after is more vivid than the way going on.
Yeah, but you weren't there for the day up,
Yeah.
Now you're on a mission.
right? To get somewhere else.
And also can see that I wanted to make like decisions, like writing a protocol, like next time when you go up the mountain, then don't go so fast and, be careful, don't get sick.
Yes, that's what that machine does. It dictates to you how you're supposed to live your life.
Right, what you're going to do differently
Next time.
More, better, and different.
How about being where you are this time and you'll be appropriate to your life?
Mhm.
It's a little bit like touching a hot stove. Every time you go to the stove now, I'm sure you've probably touched either a pan that's hot or a stove that's hot or something like that. You don't have to go, there's a pan, don't touch it while it's hot. It's already in there.
Well, we have a cat. When she was a kitten, she ran across the top of our wood stove. I mean, she jumps onto it, but then she jumped off of it immediately.
She actually left seared on paw prints. So we caught her and we held ice to her paws.
But she's
She's
never
gone
near
near
that stove again.
Yeah.
Isn't that she thinks about it?
It's just, no, it's a done deal.
Yeah.
Thinking about your life is very different than experiencing your life.
Mhm.
And when you're in a hurry to get somewhere, you're definitely lost in thought.
But being lost in thought is not a sin.
Thank you.
We've been so enculturated with good, bad, sinful, I don't know what the opposite of that is, but it's like we hold ourselves as negative people if we get off center. But what's interesting, if you're off center and you embrace where you are, you're centered.
Yeah.
It's instantaneous. That was me clicking my fingers.
Oh, so relaxing. Thank you so much.
Thank
Yeah,
you so
thank
much.
you so much.
Alrighty then, drum roll, please. You sound like our cat. It's time for our listener feedback spotlight while Shai is here purring with me. We get to hear from one of our listeners.
About how transformation has impacted their lives. And if you'd like to learn more or register for any of our upcoming courses, visit transformationmadeeasy.com.
Yeah,
And when I say easy, it's like the fire swamp.
yeah, join us.
If you know your way through it, it's easy. If you have a good guide, it's easy. If you don't, well, there's rodents of unusual size. There's lightning sand.
Oh,
What's
all
the other
those.
thing? What's
I
the-
don't
Oh,
remember.
and the fire spurts.
There you
Right.
go.
There you go.
We're great guides.
Transformation made easy.
This is Corrine in Long Branch, New Jersey, and I love the Being Here podcast. I can always count on turning it on. Just sit back, relax, listen, and I always walk away learning something and feeling great.
Do you want to have well-being with consistency? Connect with people all over the world from the comfort of your own home at Ariel and Shire's lively interactive Living Made Easy virtual seminars. Join any of their 2-hour online events or take a deep dive into the magic of being you at a virtual weekend seminar. Come on, let's connect. Find out more and register at transformationmadeeasy.com.
We invite you to Living Made Easy this Saturday and next Monday. We're also doing a weekend seminar in December on the 3rd and 4th.
It's called Relax into Life.
I really loved how Christian did the last segment. He said, it's so relaxing. You
Yeah.
deserve relaxing no matter how busy a life you have.
You know, when you actually get into the current moment of your life, rather than lost in some future event, it relaxes you. You become in tune. You become in sync with your life rather than always chasing after something that you think is going to provide what you're looking for.
In January, we're starting the new year with a whole different idea. Rather than resolutions, try transformational time and project management.
Yeah, you know, I remember when I was a kid, New Year's Day came, I was walking along the beach where I grew up,
Right.
and it was, you know, January, it was cold and windy, and I was thinking, you know, next year, when I go back to school, or next, you know, because that was a school break there around the holidays, I'm gonna do my homework every day.
Did it work?
I never did. Never
Did
did.
it ever last a week?
No, it didn't last. Sometimes it didn't last a full day.
Hmm.
In any event,
Yes, so rather than
I
ideas,
still turned out okay.
you did how to be better, do better, way better,
Well-
whatever the better is.
But if you discover how to be with what you're doing in your life, you become very effective, and it's a satisfying way to go through life.
So that's why we're offering transformational time and project management January 7th and 8th.
So you can set your whole year up to be easy.
Costa Rica 2023 is open, and if you want to come, it is not too late. We have some special arrangements with a hotel in Costa Rica. The early registration for discounted rates is ending soon. If you know you want to come, register. If you have questions about any of the courses, feel free to contact us. Just go to transformationmadeeasy.com and contact us.
If you want to come to Costa Rica with us, there is a prerequisite that you attend a weekend seminar with us during this previous year.
So you can register for any and all at transformationmadeeasy.com. shall we speak with our next guest?
Bjarna.
Bjarna, welcome to being here. Where are you zooming in from?
Hello, yeah, it's Bjarne, and I'm zooming in from Hamburg.
Right.
And when I read this topic, it couldn't be a better time, I think. The last weeks were tough, stressed, and last 2 days I had like totally time off. I had nothing really to do. And then the question came to me like, how can I really calm down without feeling bad or bored, not doing something productive? Because in the last days it was a bit, I've not done something the day.
Isn't it funny how when you're busy, you wish you were not busy, and when you aren't busy, you think you're being lazy?
Yes.
So what was it that you were up to in the last weeks that you felt you stressed yourself over?
Oh, it's much work, but also beside of work, I'm looking forward maybe changing my like university partner where I do my work. And then it's like many things also around that came up, that got solved, new things came up. And so I really looked forward for the days off now to really calm down, but I
Well, wait.
couldn't.
You said university, so are you a university student?
Yes, I have a dual studying.
Much work, are you talking about schoolwork, or do you have a job in addition to your schoolwork?
I have a job in addition to my schoolwork, and the job is like paying the university.
Okay,
The job is paying the.
for the university.
Yeah, it's like a corporation. I'm Monday, Tuesday university, and on Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday I'm at the work.
Oh, that's cool.
I really like that.
What kind of work are you doing?
It's logistics management, and we are like doing importing. We are import and export from goods, and then we transport them to the customer and the clients.
That's great.
It's also really interesting. I really like the work, and also I'm happy to choose that one, but it's unluckily not going so well with the work, and this is like always keeping me a bit not feeling so good.
Well, let me ask you a question. How old are you now, Bjarna?
I'm now 20.
You're now 20. Wow. I mean, I remember when you were born, but that's another story. So how long have you been in this job?
It's now 1 year.
1 year.
1 year, yes.
Do you know everything there is to know about this job?
No.
Good. That's the right answer. So, but you have a pressure in you to know everything there is to know.
No, I actually have really much fun to start knowing new things and to learn.
Okay.
But the problem is at the moment, they not really show me on new things. It's more like, yes, you do the same things every day because they don't have the capacity to like show me more things and new things.
Okay. So this isn't it.
Yeah, this isn't it.
See? So it would be better if they showed you more things and new things.
Yes.
That the only thing with that is you can never be satisfied because you can never have enough new or more things to learn or do. The game is to discover the newness of what you're doing newly, even though you did it last week and the week before that and the week before that. So you're satisfied doing what your job is, not what you think a more, better, or different job would be if you had new stuff to do.
I didn't know what the details were, whether it was you were feeling a victim in that you had to work at all to pay for university, but maybe that's in there as a baseline, but for certain, you're presenting it as you love to do new things, but they make you do the same old every day.
Yeah.
And as a
Yeah.
person, yes, as a person who's managed people, I find I want to give new things to people who've already completed what I've given them and have completed it and they have time to spare. So somehow, if you do, in my experience, when somebody executes what they've been given and they do it well and they do it in a timely manner rather than going.
And they do it consistently. Then there's the space for them to take on a newer project, different project.
Or additional, and I know you're nodding to us, but it is audio, so.
Yeah, it's like a bit the same too. I like the idea of things, even if I did that already, it's still new because it's like not the same as last week.
Yes, but I'm not sure you heard me. That's true.
Yeah.
Same as last week. But if well, I'm thinking of our office manager, assistant coordinator, seminar coordinator, Colleen. She will create a spreadsheet for us. She will add the people who are coming to seminars. She helps us with the emails going out to people who are coming to weekends, etc. And she does all that so well that if I think, oh gosh, I have this extra task I'd like to get done, it's easy for me to think of her or give it to her because I know she does everything consistently, as Shai said. She does it well.
You can count on it.
It's timely and it's demonstrable. She demonstrates that she's count-onable.
But Bjarna, if you have a complaint going in there that this isn't it should be different, or you should have more new stuff, or it would be better if you had newer things to learn, then you're not really with what you're doing. You're with your complaints about what you're doing, as if it would be better if it were different. And that's normal.
Well, try this as a thought. The idea that you stress yourself to demonstrate to the outside world, not to give you more work because you're already so stressed.
I like that, yeah. I
Because
see that.
often a strategy we put together as a kid, I can't do the dishes. I have all this homework to do. You know, don't ask me to fold my clothes you washed and dry. For me, it's just way too much. I'm already stressed. And then we do a more sophisticated version when we get older as a way, you can't count on me, just as you count on me, I'm going to forget something.
So you don't overburden me.
You ever forgot a deadline or a task or something in the midst of your work?
Yeah, that already. I really like that. Getting stressed shows them not to give me more.
Yes, it trains them.
It trains them not to count on you.
Count on me. If you count on me, I'm going to disappoint you.
I like that.
That way you don't have to be responsible for taking more and more on, which you say you want is to take on more new, different things. But if you're not doing what you have as an assignment with excellence already, they can't can't be responsible to give you anything new to take on, because if you're not handling what you've got in a timely way with a thoroughness and completion that they can count on you, then they're not going to give you more.
You mentioned something earlier that has come back around in my thoughts about maybe looking for a new university partner, which does that mean you're looking potentially to going to a different school?
Not to a different school, just like to a different workplace where they.
Different job.
Just so you know, you can enjoy a job the most you ever have. You can.
Right up until the time you leave.
It doesn't have to get bad to justify finding a new place to work.
Definitely not. I enjoy every day also. The work on itself I really like, and then getting also great feedback. It's just some other side parts of this, just the main work side parts. What we agreed on the start is like that they are not filling this gap.
I'm not tracking with you.
But it is really clear that in this gap, you're the victim.
Yeah, I understand that.
You don't understand what it is they're not feeling.
But yeah, but
But-
you're finding something in there to complain about as though your life isn't yours. It's done to you by them. See, being responsible for your life is where your life lives. When you are responsible, then it's all up to you, rather than they did it to me.
If we go back to the conversation we were just having with Christian, in his mind, when he was in that hurry up mode, he thought, oh, I don't travel as much as my colleagues.
Yes.
And then in forgetting, for instance, the month he spent in Japan. And it's so easy for you to set aside all the things at work and fixate on the complaints that you have, whatever they may be. The only challenge is that if you fixate on those complaints and you find yourself another job, you'll have a new set of complaints at that job. And it is entirely possible to switch jobs without having to complain about the one you're in.
I really like that it's like the complaining is not with the job, it is with my attitude and with my thinking of that.
Yes,
Yes.
Great. Yeah. It's
precisely.
like
That's-
my responsibility.
But you don't want the responsibility. You want to be that it's somebody else's fault.
Yeah, I'm unhappy because they haven't filled in all of the things they said they'd do.
Yeah, I really that is this thought I've never had before. That's great.
That is
I
great.
really like that.
Yes.
I like that you like that.
Yeah.
It's, it's a lot easier for us to see what's missing than it is for you.
Well, I know
And
that,
that's because we're not in your conversation.
correct.
Mm,
And the other day, Shai looked over and he's like, I had drunk a little tiny cup of espresso and I'd put whipped cream on top. And when I went to get the bottom, I had some whipped cream left on my nose. I couldn't see it. He could see it. It's not a failure if you can't see something because you can't see yourself. It's really lovely that you
Trust others to give you feedback that you can support yourself with.
and that you did it here today publicly as a gift to all of the listeners. So kudos to you, Bjarne, really.
it's great. Thank you very much.
Thank
You're very
you.
I
welcome.
like that.
Mhm. I tell you, if you enjoyed this podcast and you'd like to be on the podcast as well, you're welcome to. Just go to transformationmadeeasy.com/being here and find out how. Also, we do the little listener spotlights in the middle where people talk about their experience of transformation. We invite you to have a listener spotlight of your own. We'll be happy to receive it. So next week's episode.
Is somewhere over the rainbow.
Somewhere someday is always going to be better.
Oh,
That's the idea. All right, we'll be back next week.
so come on back and don't miss being here.